Hello, everyone. My name is Jonathan Shannon, and I just wanted to come on here and just basically do this sort of a short video here live. Um, I'm not doing a citizen report tonight. We'll just have to wait and see how tomorrow plays out. We're in one of those kind of times where I really can't afford to wait very long to do a broadcast. So what I've decided to do is just come on here live, and this is not the citizen report. This is just me personally here. I'm not going to get too specific in this broadcast, but I just wanted to come on here and talk generally about what's going on, and also offer a little bit of an encouragement. So I know that a lot of people have been discouraged lately, and I can understand perfectly because if you watch the mainstream media, they're trying to tell you that Trump is done for. They try to say that to even support him at this point is basically akin to something nefarious. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous, and we know it is. If you've been watching my broadcast for any length of time, it's ridiculous. All the mainstream media propaganda. But I just want to tell everybody to hold the line, hold fast, because I believe that we're fixing to see a lot of things happen. We're already starting to see things happen, and I'm got to be very, very careful about what I say because censorship is going into overdrive. So suffice it to say, though. We're getting word that there have been blackouts in certain cities or countries. I've heard that the Vatican has had a blackout. I have heard that Pakistan has had a blackout, and I believe there are others. But and we saw basically what you could describe as a caravan of vehicles purported to be leaving the Vatican. I do not know if that's true, but it was purported as such. But I just want you to know that there are things happening. Just because you don't see it on CNN or Fox News, and again, Fox News. Let's just get one thing straight about this. Fox News is no better than CNN. Yes, you have a few good patriots, and they are good patriots. You got Hannity, you got Judge Jeanine, Mark Levin, fantastic. Tucker Carlson, kind of, sorta. I like him. Sometimes I wonder about him, though, because he seems to kind of waver a little bit on his support of Trump. But I don't know if I'm interpreting that correctly. He just may be getting some heat from his bosses, but I don't know. But I just want to encourage you because, if you watch CNN and everybody and all the other channels, that people they're trying to say it's all over, and I'm telling you, it is not over. And in fact, I am going to go on a limb here to say that as far as God is concerned, the war has already been won. And again, let me be very clear about something. This isn't just about Trump. I want Trump to get back in, of course. I like him. He's been a great president overall, but it's not just about Trump. It is so much more than that. It really comes down to this republic, whether we're going to be about liberty, if we're going to continue to be a country and really restore and go on to be maybe and to put it in a way, maybe the founding fathers would have said, a more perfect union. Or are we going to go off into fascism, big tech fascism, and all the rest? But all this stuff that you're seeing is disinformation right now. You have to be very discerning. You have to be very, very careful. And I think that's one of the main pointers I need to make here. You need to be very careful right now on who you're listening to. Because if you're getting your news from mainstream media, they're going to try to manipulate you. They are not stupid when it comes to propaganda. Now, they are stupid people, trust me. A lot of them are just run-of-the-mill people. They're just there to get a paycheck, just do their job, clock in, clock out. But the controllers that be, the people at the top, they are, how should I say this? the people at the very top, they do have an agenda. They have a very nefarious agenda. They're going along with the New World Order. Just one second. I'm going to check, see what I just got here. Okay, my apologies. I need to check that real quick. But to get back on point, the mainstream media, they're pretty stupid, okay? I'm sorry. I hate to put it in those terms, but that is kind of the truth there. But they're not stupid. I will give them credit for this. They are not stupid when it comes to, let's say, just manipulation. Just manipulation. And that's where you got to be careful, because you may think, oh, I'm just going to tune into the TV for a few minutes and just listen to see what they're saying. Now, granted, at face value, that's probably okay. But you have to be careful even if you do that, because they know how to phrase things. They know what sells. They know how to get you to believe a certain way. So, in the days ahead, what I'm been made aware of, let's say, from everyone I've been listening to, from what I personally believe that we've already seen big tech censorship unlike anything we've ever seen before. And it's already been bad before, but I mean, now it's insane, especially on Twitter. But in the coming days, you're going to see things get a lot worse before it gets better. It will get better, folks, but we have to get through the coming days first. And I think that's why you got to be just it's like the disciples when they were out at, what was it, on the water, and all these seas, the storm came, and Jesus was, I believe, taking a nap. He wasn't worried. I mean, my gosh, he's the savior of the world. He is he's God the Son. And yet the disciples around him were just absolutely about to lose their composure over the storm they were looking at. And finally, Jesus tells the storm to be still. And the storm had to obey. So I think that we can learn from that. And I'll tell myself that as much as I'm telling you. And that is, as we go through these turbulent days, and they are turbulent. It's like being on a plane. You're at 35,000 feet or whatever, and all of a sudden you get all these the plane starts bouncing around and such. But there's still a pilot, okay? And I truly believe, and I'm not just saying this, I believe this, that God ordained, he allowed, and it was his will that Trump become president. I'm not saying I'm not saying it's just about Trump. I'm not saying that. I like Trump. Personally, I like Trump. But I'm saying it's not about personality. It's about this country being a breadbasket of saving souls. Think about all the countries that Christians have gone to from this country to other countries to preach about Jesus, about salvation. And our country plays a vital role in that. Not just that, though. We are a great friend of Israel. Now, I'm not saying that Israel's perfect, okay? But at the same time, it is very clear from Scripture that Israel, I don't know if I'm saying it exactly right, but suffice it to say, it's God's sovereign country, okay? But just be encouraged that no matter what you see in the natural, God is still in control, and you have to look beyond what you're seeing in front of your face. You cannot allow the mainstream media to manipulate you. I go back to what I said a few moments ago. They are stupid. to actually be on the side of fascism, because in the end, it would bite them as well. Because in the end, nobody wins when it comes to fascism. But the mainstream media, as I said a few moments ago, just to make sure I'm perfectly clear in saying this, they are not stupid when it comes to phrasing things to get you to believe a certain way. I can list examples from history where that's been the case, but I'm not going to do that right now. But I just want to encourage you to hold the line. I've been saying this. I have been saying this for weeks now. I've been telling you, if you've been following me or maybe even friending me on Facebook. Now, I don't make all my posts public, so you really need to be a Facebook friend to see all this. I do that for a reason, too. But hold the line is really the best way I can think of to say this. When the enemy is attacking, you don't just run from the battlefield. Now, I'm not saying this like I'm saying, oh, I'm perfect, I've never failed either. Trust me, I've had my times where I've just absolutely blew it when it came to trusting God. I totally get that. But my point being is that we have to hold the line. I know it sounds like a cliche, but it is very practical. And I don't really know how else to say this. You're going to see things happen in the next few days. It's going to blow your mind, both good and bad. You're going to think all is lost. You're going to think it's bad now. Wait till you see what they try to do this week. They're going to try to impeach Trump. They're still trying to push the 25th Amendment, according to what I've read tonight. I don't know if that'll go. I don't know if that'll go anywhere. But regardless, nothing can stop what is coming. Trump is going to be in office for 4 more years. I just want you to be encouraged by this. I don't want you to be one of those out there that is despairing, thinking all is lost, and then all of that stress hormones have been wasted when you realize in the end that all was not lost. I'm just preaching from my personal experience with other things. It is better to be on the front end, preemptively preparing your mind for what is to come, rather than having to do, to go back later and fix the way you were thinking about worrying about everything. And you know something? Can I just read to you Psalm 91? I really would like to do that. Now, again, I am not saying this trying to sound like I'm this perfect Christian. I am not. I'm just no better than the rest of y'all. But in the way I can, I want to be here with whatever influence I have, albeit small. I want to be a good influence, okay? Now, I want to read to you Psalm 91. And I really want this to I just want you to accept it, receive it, so that your mind, your subconscious is adjusting, if you will, to the truths of this. Let's begin here. He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in Him I will trust. Let me stop right there. Did you catch that? It says, he who dwells in the secret place of the Most High. So if you trust God, shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. The best way I know to interpret this is just, if you belong to God, if you trust Jesus as your Savior, then trust Him. Don't worry. Let not your heart be troubled. Let's keep going here. Surely He shall deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from the perilous pestilence. He shall cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you shall take refuge. His truth shall be your shield and buckler. You shall not be afraid of the terror by night, nor of the arrow that flies by day, nor of the pestilence that walks in darkness, nor of the destruction that lays waste at noonday. Let me stop right there for a second. Are you really understanding? It's describing, it's picturing a battle, okay? We may not be having guns and all these bullets flying all over the place, but we are in a war in this country. It's an information war. And it can be just as consequential as it would be a gun battle, okay? Let's keep going here. This is one of my favorite parts of this whole chapter. 1,000 may fall at your side, and 10,000 at your right hand, but it shall not come near you. Only with your eyes shall you look and see the reward of the wicked. Because you have made the Lord, who is my refuge, even the Most High, your dwelling place, no evil shall befall you, nor shall any plague come near your dwelling. And before I go any further, as I continue to read, understand this is a truth that applies to us today as Christians, okay? Verse 11, for he shall give his angels charge over you to keep you in all your ways. In their hands they shall bear you up, lest you dash your foot against a stone. You shall tread upon the lion and the cobra, the young lion and the serpent you shall trample underfoot. Verse 14, because he has set his love upon me, therefore I will deliver him. I will set him on high, because he has known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life I will satisfy him and show him my salvation. Okay? So isn't that great? This is a chapter in the Bible that I have been personally aware of for more than 10 years now. And it's incredible truth, okay? And I truly believe, I do not believe I am wrong to say that even now with all this stuff going on, all this chaos that's going on in America, these truths in Psalm 91 are just as true in this case. And again, just because we don't have guns and it's not just because we're not fighting the British here, with guns and such, like in Revolutionary War back in the 1700s. Just because we don't have that situation on our hands here, we're still in a war. It's a spiritual war. What's the verse that says we wrestle not with flesh and blood, but with principalities? And I just think people need to understand we are in a war here. It is very, very real. It is a spiritual war. It's an information war. Okay. So just be encouraged that God is in control. He has revealed to people, certain people. I think of Amanda Grace. I forget the other individual's name, but there's another individual. And God has made it clear to them that Trump is going to be in office for 4 more years. And I truly believe that God did this for a reason, because we have to have reassurance. We need reassurance. And I believe God has provided a provision of that. But even without that, you still have chapters in Scripture like Psalm 91, okay? So just be encouraged and know that God's in control, and we need to pray. I need to tell myself this. We need to pray that Trump and the Patriots, and when I say the Patriots, I'm talking about the military. I'm talking about maybe special forces. I'm not exactly sure, how to best describe it. Certainly General Flynn, for instance, I've heard things about him, working behind the scenes. Sidney Powell, Lynn Wood. I could go on, but we need to pray that they have protection and discernment, because that's vitally important. That one of the most important things we can have is discernment. Because in the natural, we only see certain things, but God sees it all. He sees the end from the beginning. He sees what's to come that isn't yet in the natural. He's already in the future. He's not limited by time. So I just want to, before, and I'm going to sign off here in a moment, but I just want to encourage everybody, and I know most people won't be watching this live anyway. You'll just be catching it as a video later, hopefully. But just be encouraged. I have heard enough things. I'm not going to go into too much detail about it. I may cover just a little bit of it before I sign off, just to make sure that you know at least enough to go then do your own research. I am not sure about this. I have heard rumors that Trump is implementing Insurrection Act. I do not know. That may not be true. I do not know. I have heard that I'm not sure if it's a National Guard, but I've heard something is happening in D.C. And I believe that D.C. Mayor Bowser, the D.C. mayor, she might have had a hand in that. But I think that Trump can even use these deep staters to get certain things put into place. Like, it's like the best way I can think of it is they're basically fooling the deep state to do their bidding, right? Like Trump had certain people in office for a certain period of time, like John Bolton and Rex Tillerson. I forget other people who presumably, I'm assuming anyway, I don't know this for sure, but I assume that that they were put into office for a certain reason, for a certain period of time. And then when Trump got what he needed, maybe if it was information, maybe it was to get a certain task done, he removes them. And I believe that's what we could be seeing here. I don't know. I could be totally wrong about that. But I just find it very interesting about the timing of the military, or I should say National Guard. But, and again, I believe it's National Guard. But what else before I sign off of here? Once again, just to repeat, I did have a multiple sources say, let me pull this up. I did have multiple sources say that the Vatican had gone dark, and by that I mean they lost electricity. I don't know every detail about that, but I do believe that that's a bastion of the deep state right there, and there could have been certain ops taking place for a period of time. Interestingly enough, I just came across this on my phone. I had shared this earlier today, or about 4 hours ago. Lynn Wood posted this. I'm not sure if it was this past day or not, but it was on Parler. And by the way, Parler, I'm assuming, is going down right now, thanks to deep state Amazon, who should be broken up under the Sherman Act. We may talk about that on a future broadcast of the Citizen Report. We'll see. At Lynn Wood, parlayed. It's not tweet, it's parlayed. I kind of like that word. It's kind of an interesting term, parlayed. Here's what he said on Parler. Over the next 10 to 14 days, you will learn shocking information about many of our government officials and wealthy elite. Child sex trafficking and pedophilia are the worldwide pandemic. Revelations will relate to Joe Biden, Barack Obama, Chief Justice John Roberts, Hillary Clinton, Nancy Pelosi, Mike Pence, Jeffrey Epstein, Bill Gates, and thousands more. I have seen evidence. It is conclusive. This truly is the battle between good and evil. Let me stop right there. Now, that's the end of his parlay, his post on Twitter. I don't know if that's true. I trust what Lynn Wood is saying to be true. I'm just telling you, that is what Lynn Wood is claiming. I'm not saying that is what I'm claiming. That's what Lynn Wood is claiming. But I believe Lynn Wood would not make outlandish statements unless he had reason that it be true. Now, let's be very clear. None of us are perfect in this world. The only man perfect was and is Jesus Christ, okay? But one thing I think we can all agree is that if you are engaging in pedophilia, if you're hurting a child, you're raping them, you're doing things to them, and they're a child. That is. I mean, nobody nobody under any circumstances could possibly say that's true, no matter what their background. There's no way anybody can say in their right mind that pedophilia is okay. Okay. Now, Joe M., I'm not sure. It looks like this may have been on Parler as well. This is another screenshot. Joe M. put this out. The Vatican blackout did occur. Reports of a large police presence on the ground. If the Pope really did get detained, it would be the most significant event since the fall of the House of Saud, and would mean another side of the triangle has been taken. What else? What else here? So, but once again, let me pull this up too. I know I'm laying this run a little bit longer than anticipated. I'll wrap up here soon. Nancy Pelosi put this out on January 7th. Now, this is a few days ago now, but this is what she said. Let me see if my camera adjusts. I hope it does. I'll read it. At Speaker Pelosi tweeted this out. This morning, at Senator Schumer, and I placed a call to Vice President Pence to urge him to invoke the 25th Amendment, which would allow the Vice President and a majority of the cabinet to remove the president. We have not yet heard back from the Vice President. Now, you need to understand something, that all is not what it appears to be. Now, it is my understanding that either tomorrow or Tuesday, and this is according to X22 report, that X22 report is going to, it said, I should say, that Nancy Pelosi is going to file articles of impeachment. Now, think about this. Think very critically about this. If Trump, let's assume theoretically, actually was leaving office, why would they need to impeach him right now? It's because he's going to declassify. He's going to let the Kraken unleash the Kraken, release the Kraken. I think that it's going to be utterly devastating to the deep state, because it's going to reveal just how treasonous the Democrats have been. And let me reassure you one more time. Trump is not going to leave office. You're going to hear things in the news that say otherwise, but Trump is not going to leave office. I don't know how we get to that. I'm just an average guy. That's why I call my broadcasts. That's why I call my broadcasts the Citizen Report. Citizen. That means I'm an average guy. That's why I called it that. I am not a big corporation. I'm a citizen. I'm an American citizen. And so I don't have special knowledge, but I can tell you instinctively and from what I've heard that regardless of how we get there, Trump is going to be in office for 4 more years. Okay? So I just want you to be encouraged. If Biden got in, it would be the end of America, but he is not going to get in. I believe he will be going to jail. I mean, he's committed, I would dare say, treason. Joe Biden has. And, we'll just have to wait and see how everything plays out. I do believe it's going to get much worse before it gets better. The communications blackout is, I believe, still coming. So there may come a time where the Citizen Report is unable to broadcast for a period of time. I hope it doesn't come to that. I hope my YouTube channel stays up. But if it doesn't, I am not going to give up. I am going to, if I can find a way to put up reports, I will. If I have to wait to the other side, I will. But one way or another, we're going to get through this. We're not going to let the deep state take us out. It's not going to happen. And I truly believe the best is yet to come. Okay, so just be encouraged by that, and just hold the line. Trust that God has already won the war in the spirit, in the spiritual realm, in heaven, supernaturally. It is already good as done. Okay. Let me. As I wrap up, I'm trying to find the best way to say this, but basically, when God says something is going to happen, There's not a thing the deep state, the wicked, and by wicked, I mean those that aren't Christians, okay? I'm not saying that to suggest that we Christians are perfect. That's not what I'm saying, okay? Those that aren't Christians, those who, you know, or on the other side, they don't trust Jesus, okay? Regardless of who they are. That side, there is not a thing all of them put together could do to stop God from doing his will. Satan tried to stop Jesus from coming. And when Jesus was born, he tried to do everything he can to stop Jesus. But Satan failed utterly. So, anyways, I guess I'll wrap it up right about here, but I just want everyone, again, I said this several times, but I'll say it one more time. I just want you to be encouraged and not worry. We're all human. We're going to have those moments that we're not going to quite be expecting a certain thing to happen. But I just want to say, and I said this on Facebook Live last night, you need to get a hold of an emergency radio because it's going to get very, very rough before it gets better. Let me see if I can grab pardon me for 1 second. Okay. I got this at Walmart for about $80. If you can get a hold of one of these, great. It has an emergency weather radio. If you turn this on, I'll just go ahead and do a quick demo for you guys. If the emergency alert system is activated, the weather radio, I believe, should be automatically part of that. Now, TV stations and radio stations, they're supposed to also be part of the emergency alert system, broadcast system, whatever. But we know the deep state's going to do nefarious things, so we don't know what's going to happen. I think that the best way to get around whatever the deep state tries to do is using the weather radio. Now, I'm going to work to verify and make sure that is the case, that the weather radio really is part of a presidential alert system. It's not just weather, it's other things. Okay, I just turned this on, and I'm going to turn the volume up.
It was clear. The temperature was 29 degrees. Elsewhere in
So,
North Carolina.
that, when you turn on the weather radio, I have a transmitter that's basically in line. I can literally go out of this building right now on my property, and I can, on a good day, see the transmitter. If I look for it, that is, you know, there's trees and stuff, so it's not a perfect view. But my point being is that I'm in line of view. Not all of you are going to be that close to a radio tower that has a weather radio. So you're going to have to tune the radio until you find something within range. A few of you might not be in range, but I would say I think it's 95+%. It's actually higher than 95%, but it's somewhere in the high 90s% of people the Weather Service says has access to a weather radio transmitter. So, so on a loop, the Weather Service puts out weather forecasts, okay? Now, on this particular weather radio, I haven't yet gotten it to actually pick up on anything, but supposedly it can also pick up on aviation, you know, the frequencies that are reserved for airplanes and things related to that. I've got emergency officials like police, EMS, stuff like that. I'm not exactly sure what this other button does. And then I've got a marine button as well that takes me to that part of the radio band. So anyways, if you can get a hold of one of these, that would be great. And if you need help, if one of you out there need help with learning how this works, however you can get in touch with me, and I'll do my best to help you out. But for practical purposes, let me describe very briefly, as I did on Facebook Live, how the emergency alert system works. So if or when the president, and we do believe this is going to happen because the person, the 17 poster, has said this, the emergency alert system will be used. If or when that happens, basically you will hear tones that make what are called valid tones. And it will interrupt whatever's on that frequency. If it's a radio station, it'll interrupt that. TV station, interrupt that. And weather radio, interrupt whatever's playing out there. If the president makes an announcement, I believe it's an audio where that would be the case, then the president can do that. So I do believe that the best way, because we know they're now, I do not know this to be certain, but they're putting out updates for both Android and iPhones. I don't know why I've got indigestion tonight, by the way. I do apologize. But my point being is that they're trying to put out updates. Now, my phone's already updated, so it may be good as done. It's not supposedly. Now, people are claiming this. I don't know if this is true, but supposedly the phones they're trying to make it so that the phones don't pick up on the alerts if the emergency alert system. So I'm telling you, just go around that. If it still comes through on your phone, fine, great. Let's hope it does. But there are other ways. That's what I'm trying to tell you. There are other ways. And this, by the way, is battery operated. This too is battery operated. Now that I could actually put a cord on it. This one is just pure battery. So you can turn the radio on, and very self-explanatory. And then you can tune in. Put up the antenna, find a station in range. But I don't need to do that. I'm sure, I trust that you know how to make that work. But again, if the president needs to communicate, and I do believe that's coming on soon, that will be on deck soon. I do believe that. Then that will be how he needs to communicate. So if the president does decide to communicate, listen carefully to whatever it is he says, because he's got a reason for it. So anyways, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you to everyone that tuned in. Looks like a few of you might have tuned in, or a couple of you perhaps. I'm going to sign off here, but on Facebook, I'll probably do something live maybe tomorrow. I'm not sure about that, but we'll see. As for the Citizen Report, I hope to be on with that soon. In the next day or two. That's unless everything goes sideways and communications go down. Let's hope that doesn't happen. If you know me personally, if you know how to get in touch with me, get in touch with me and exchange phone numbers with me, because if Facebook goes down, we don't know if it will for certain. At least I don't know for certain, but it's certainly possible. If you want to keep in touch with me, certainly do that so we don't lose contact. So, all right, guys. God bless each and every one of you. Hopefully next time my indigestion won't be so bad. So hope everyone has a good evening, and I'll see you next time. Have a good night, everyone.